We've got a new trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. Let's not waste any time. Here comes a breakdown. Most of the footage in the first half doesn't show off a whole lot of new stuff. Between Star Wars Celebration and the first publicly released trailer, we've seen these Mandalorians, we've seen the N1 Starfighter in hyperspace, we've seen Navarro. But what is new is Din's discussion of what it means to be a Mandalorian. That's great. He asks, what are we? What do we stand for? I love that he's asking these questions for himself. He was raised in a cult and told that to be a Mandalorian means you follow the way of the Mandalore, and if you stray from that path, you are cast out. That's the exact position he is in now. I've been loving his journey of realizing it's not about the rules you follow, it's about living with honor, with or without your helmet on. I could see him gathering more and more Mandalorians to his side. He has the Darksaber, he has a claim to lead them all. I think you can see Paz Vizsla in one of the wide shots, which is interesting. The last time he saw Din, he called him an apostate. The dialogue continues that being a Mandalorian isn't just about learning how to fight, you also have to know how to navigate the galaxy so you'll never be lost. Sure, he might mean literally, but I think he's also talking morally. You have to develop a code to live by so you know what is right and what is wrong, which is also what the Jedi have to do. I have loved the way this series swaps out the Jedi for Mandalorians and explores the same Star Wars themes using different ingredients. When it comes down to it, Star Wars is about the power that you have and how you use it. For the Jedi, that power is the Force. For Mandalorians, it's their training and their weapons and gear and armor. How are they going to use all that? Will they be bounty hunters? Will they be conquerors? Will they set it all aside to be pacifists no matter what? Or will they be defenders? Heading to Navarro, we see some familiar shots like the Kowakian monkey lizard hanging out in the tree. This planet and city is nicer every time we revisit it, and the monkey lizard is a great symbol of that. The first time we saw them, they were caged and roasting on a spit. Now they're free to thrive. Greef Karga is looking nicer and nicer as well, and I love the monument to IG-11 standing on top of the helmets of stormtroopers. There are a few shots of Din and Grogu flying through a storm. That could be heading to Mandalore, but I think it's more likely that they're going to meet Bo-Katan as we saw in the previous trailer. Maybe that is on Mandalore, I don't know, but she has a little throne room set up and it's definitely raining outside. Speaking of Mandalore, Din goes to the armorer to tell her that he will be going to Mandalore to atone for the supposed sin of removing his helmet. I'm very curious how that's all gonna play out. Like I said, I hope Din rejects the one and only one way to be a Mandalorian kind of thinking, but it's okay that he's not there yet. It's a journey, and I suppose he may go through with it if Pre Vizsla joins his team. That guy seems like he'd be tough to convince otherwise. No matter what Din decides, I am so psyched to see Mandalore and the capital city of Sundari. I mean, I wish it weren't destroyed and in ruins, but it's still pretty sick. There's a short moment with Peli shouting "May the Force be with you" as he and Grogu leave Tatooine with R5 in the droid socket. Din's dislike of droids is another arc he's been going through since he met IG-11, and I think we're gonna see him making big strides this season, but we'll get to that shot later. There's a really sweet shot of Grogu watching fireworks that we've seen before. I think the celebration is happening over Mos Eisley or Mos Espa. The architecture definitely looks like Tatooine, and I assume it's part of the sequence where he's leaving Peli's. I have no idea what the fireworks are for, though. Maybe it's the anniversary of the Battle of Endor, or if it's Mos Espa, maybe Boba Fett is just throwing a party. But from Tatooine, let's pop over to someplace we haven't seen yet in this series, and honestly, I'm not sure if this city planet is meant to be Coruscant or Hosnian Prime. I'm leaning towards Hosnian, actually. I assume Dr. Pershing is cooperating with the New Republic, so I'm guessing he would be at their capital. But the New Republic capital also moved around every few years, so this planet could be anywhere, but whatever. I'm placing my credits on Hosnian Prime. Either way, I'm happy to see a core world. So much of the series takes place in the Outer Rim. That makes sense. It's very Western inspired, but I don't mind spreading the story out at all. There's an added shot on the Disney Plus version of the trailer right around here that shows Star Destroyers being either constructed or dismantled on the same city planet. I believe Pershing and the comms officer from Gideon's cruiser both watch on. They're wearing costumes that match their appearance in the first trailer. I think the destroyers are being dismantled and repurposed, so maybe we'll see New Republic Starhawks on screen. But the shot was so fast it's hard to tell anything. I also think that moment was in the Celebration trailer last year. We get some more dialogue, this time from the man, the myth, the legend, Carson Teva. He's looking fantastic in a flight jacket with what I guess is a Rancor Squadron patch, which is so awesome. I just love Paul Sun-Hyung Lee. He did an interview with us on the channel back after season 2 of the series, and he is so genuine and nice, and he's a mega Star Wars fan, so to see him getting to do more and more fills me with joy. He's got lines in the trailer now. He says there's something dangerous happening in the Outer Rim, and by the time it comes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late. Now the question is, who is he talking to? The camera cuts to Din, but he's standing in Bo-Katan's throne room. I think Carson is warning someone in the New Republic that they need to be caring more about the Outer Rim. They can't just focus on the core. Who could that someone be? My bet is some new character, a superior officer or something. I doubt he's talking directly to Chancellor Mon Mothma. Meanwhile, we see some shots of Din in the mines beneath Mandalore where the armorer told him he had to go atone, and he finds a helmet buried in ash. A shot I was not expecting to see in this trailer is more from Grogu's Order 66 flashback in the Book of Boba Fett. We can see the lightsabers reflected in his eyes, and then we see his perspective of several knights protecting him as someone starts to cut their way through the door. I expect those are just clones on the other side. It's not a blue lightsaber carving its way through at any rate, but I wonder if we'll get the answer to the question we've had since Season 2. Who saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple? Then we cut to a Mandalorian gauntlet starfighter being chased by several TIE interceptors. First, I'm loving all the apparent Starfighter action we'll be getting this season. I feel like that's been pretty light in the Star Wars live-action streaming series, but now we know of at least 2 major-looking scenes in Season 3. There were some pirate-looking ships in the first trailer, and now these TIEs. They make it seem like it's Din flying the gauntlet, but the interior of the cockpit shows he is in the N1, so maybe he's flying around trying to protect another Mandalorian like Bo-Katan. Then we come to what appears to be a droid cantina, which is a really nice twist on the "we don't serve their kind here" moment from A New Hope. I have no idea why Din is in this place, but I think that shows his continuing growth when it comes to droids. But there are 3 battle droids sitting inside. First, I love that. Please let them speak and be as absolutely goofy as they are in the Clone Wars series. But second, that could be a problem for Din, since his family was killed by battle droids. They were B2s and not B1s, but still, hanging out with R5-D4 is one thing. Hanging out with battle droids is a different kind of emotional challenge for him. Going back to Navarro, I will never not be hyped seeing that shot of the Mandalorians dropping out of the ship. It is so cool. Based on the first trailer for the season, I think some raiders come in to try to take the outpost from Greef Karga. He'll probably put in a call to his old friend Mando, and then Din might have to go around gathering support to lead some of his people in the defense of a world that's important to him, lead them in doing some good. Maybe they are the covert that used to live on Navarro. And whatever monsters they're fighting appear to have destroyed the monument of IG-11, and that, my friends, is a no-no. They all need to be dealt with. In the midst of the fighting, there's a quick shot of 2 Anzellans, who we saw in the Celebration trailer, and the final big moment seems to be Grogu just pramming it up in the mines of Mandalore until he comes across some sort of monster, who he takes care of all by himself, force-pushing it out of the cave. Our little baby Yoda is growing up. He looks like he can use the Force without needing a nap, and he doesn't need his dad to protect him all the time. I also kinda like that the creature is totally just a dude in a rubber suit. That's what it looks like, but I find it charming. Yes, this series pushes the boundary with technology like the volume, but it also uses a lot of the old filmmaking techniques that the original Star Wars had to rely on. And by the way, I should point out that the trailer looks good. I was pretty down on the volume and its use in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Obviously, I still don't think the volume should be used for every situation, but The Mandalorian was always a series that was created with the volume in mind. So far, I think it's looking pretty good. And that's the end of the trailer. Honestly, there wasn't any huge, oh snap moment for me, but I'm fine with that. I would rather have those moments play out in the series itself. Would I have liked to see something from Moff Gideon or Bo-Katan or Cobb Vanth? Absolutely, but it's okay. I'm wearing my Mos Pelego shirt to manifest Timothy Oliphant in Season 3. Honestly, I'm thrilled enough with the Carson Teva moment. Give that man the galaxy. And the Jedi shots took me by surprise for sure. I think I'm most impressed by the scale of this season. The first two, you could kind of point at scenes in the trailer and start to group them all together. This trailer is all over the place, in the best way. So many locations and so many set pieces. The Navarro plot is the only thing I feel like I can get any kind of handle on what we will probably see. So good, surprise me. I'm so ready for this flavor of Star Wars to be back in my life for 8 weeks straight. Of course, we'll be covering every episode with reviews and our after show live stream starting on March 1st, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Mandalorian coverage and check out our Patreon page for audio commentaries and video reactions to every episode as well. As always, thanks for watching, and this is the way.